Rock of Ages. Okay, so Rock of Ages is a musical set in the 80s, centering around this one bar, and it follows quite a few different storylines, all centering around rock and roll. There's a romance centering between two characters who work at this bar, who want to inspire to be singers. There's a storyline between two people who are trying to keep the bar running. There's a story involving a major rock legend and how he's not fulfilled with his life. And there's a story about a group of preachers preaching against the club and rock and roll in general. Now, it's interesting to see all these different stories play out, but the main problem is they become really extremely muddled. Especially Catherine Zeta-Jones' story. I mean, her whole plot line could have not been in the film, and the other stories would have been able to expand and grow and benefited from it. But I think the standout story is Tom Cruise's story. He actually has quite an underlining dark story arc about depression and how he's trying to cope with it. I mean, you can tell throughout the whole film he's clearly not happy being the Stacey Jacks, the big rock and roll legend. But his performance is absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's no words to describe how great his performance is. I mean, you've seen him in the trailer when he's like, but when he's not singing, he's just as fantastic as well. He's so subtle, and he just steals every single scene that he's in. And when he sings, he's absolutely fantastic at that as well. I was completely blown away by it. Another character who kind of surprised me was Russell Brand's character as well. I mean, I've never been a big fan of Russell Brand. I've never really paid much attention to him. He's never stood out for me. But it seemed like every line in this film that he came out with was just comical. I think I laughed at about 90% of his lines, and that means quite a lot of the humour worked in the film as well. But at the same time, a lot of the jokes fell flat. I mean, a lot of the jokes weren't funny and just kind of fell flat. So a lot of the time you were just like, just end it, end it. Another thing that didn't work as well was there was quite a couple of romance plots within the film, and not for 1 second did I buy any of them. I mean, the film is intentionally over the top and cheesy, and because of that, the relationships between some of the characters as well were kind of over the top and cheesy as well, so I didn't buy any of the relationships that were going on. And they just kind of happened so quickly as well, like how they grow into each other's personalities and how they form these relationships. But those are really my only problems with the film. I mean, I think there's not one song in this film that's bad, and that's a surprise for a musical. Because usually in a musical you get 1 or 2 songs that you're just like, okay, I'm not really feeling this song, pick it up. But every song I loved it, and I was tapping my feet, I had a big smile on my face, especially between one song. There's a song that Alec Baldwin and Russell Brand sing, and it's just fantastic. I mean, that one song and that one scene is worth the price of admission alone. And when I was walking home, I was just thinking about all the songs in my head. I was kind of walking down the street, you know, just clicking my fingers. And then I realised that I actually look like some sort of serial killer. Now, generally, musicals aren't really accepted by audiences anymore. There are some that work. I mean, like the Muppets, that did fantastically. But then when the High School Musical come out, people just generally decide not to like them. And personally, I have no problem with the High School Musical trilogy. I even have them all. And, you know, people are going to be like, but I love High School Musical. I love musicals in general. So it's nice to see a musical on the big screen for a change, instead of, you know, musicals which is basically extended videos like Step Up. So overall, I'm going to give Rock of Ages, I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. I was thoroughly entertained throughout, and it had problems which stopped it from being a really great summer film. But that being said, I would recommend that you go see it. And if, you know, it's a musical, you shut off, you enjoy it, you accept the cheesiness and the fluffiness of it. And as usual, if you like this review, just click subscribe to see more.